As you can imagine, there are many variables here in play, starting from what is a good sword fighter. So my definition of a good sword fighter is, of course, that they hey, in the nose, some pollen, I think. A good sword fighter is, sorry about this, somebody who can, at the very least, understand the basic techniques of stepping and striking, and then they can also combine the stepping and striking together. So they have the moves, they can step and cut or thrust depending on the style. So that's the first thing. So they have the technical ability in there. The second thing is that they understand at least one tactic, preferably all of them, but at least one, and they can execute that perfectly along with the technique they select. So this is the key. And the third thing is that they can actually practice what they are doing. So they can make their own training programs, modify those when needed, avoid getting injured, and if they are injured, they can understand how to heal as quickly as possible. So they have this idea in their head that what to do. So that makes a sword fighter on paper. On top of that, they should be able to take part in sparring. So without sparring, there is no sword fighting. Because if you just practice alone, you are not a sword fighter. You are a choreographer or this kind of solo trainer. But just understand that in sword fighting there is an opponent, and no matter what the Japanese say, it's not you, it's somebody else. And your whole idea here is to win or overpower your opponent by the means allowed by the rules you are going with. Okay, now we are getting to the high point. We are still walking on the walls in this Iron Age fortress, and I think there is a view coming up. Just give me a second. So that they can actually fight. So if you look at this, just look at that. So if you look at these Kung Fu or other practitioners, well, they are very good with techniques and things like that, but they can't fight. Because the tactical application is maybe not there, the timing is not there. So these things is what I see. So with timing I mean like a timing that enables you to win, or the tactics that enable you to win. So it's too much choreography, too little the actual fighting. So in order to be a good sword fighter, you have to be able to fight, not just talk about fighting or talk theory. Theory is good, of course. You have to understand that as well, but it's not the only thing in there. So this is how high we are now in this Iron Age fortress. So it's really high, like a commanding position over the surrounding area. I think this was the main fortress in this middle Finland, Rapala. Yeah. And about the fighting then, it's not that you are able to fight with some group. You should be able to fight against the top dogs or the best fighters there are. Not like in the absolute sense maybe, but at least in your area. And because you see, your group might be so isolated that you all think that you are very good against each other. But then when you go somewhere else, there are always somebody who is much better. But once you understand that how good those other guys are elsewhere, then you can kind of compare your own level to that and understand where you stand in terms of application. So even if you can do the techniques and tactics alone or in controlled environment, then it's the application. So can you apply? If you cannot, you can't be a good sword fighter, because that's the whole point. You have to be able to apply the things. Okay, where are we going now? Right, so application would be the last thing. Makes a good sword fighter. And maybe finally, you have been around for a while, so it's you can get good in just a few years, but most of these guys, they didn't get injured because of the fighting, meaning that their technique was good. They didn't do anything stupid. The training was correct, even though they were doing a lot of things. So if they are still around, because they have so many years of fighting, so they have gone through different kind of opponents. They know how to modify their technique. They know the weaknesses of the opponents. They have this pattern recognition. They can understand like what the opponents are doing. So that's the final point, that years of training makes a good sword fighter.